When you play a Minecraft server, it's an even playing field. Normally, anyone can die, everybody can take damage, and everyone is mortal. But what if they weren't? If one player could discover and exploit a rare bug, gaining the ability to be invisible to everybody else, immune to physical damage, and entirely undetectable on the server's tab list, it could throw off the balance of any Minecraft server dramatically. That just leaves the question then, how exactly did he do it? A few weeks ago now, I was looking through my Minecraft SMP OG-network.net's Discord server when suddenly a player named ToggleXYZ pinged me in a message. I'm in Vanish, I'm in God mode, I can't take damage. ToggleXYZ claimed to be invisible in-game to all other players and also unable to be damaged. He named it the Vanish glitch due to how similarly it functioned to the /vanish command many administrators and operators have on servers, allowing them to disappear from the server entirely, not even displaying on the tab menu. It was like he had become a ghost. I logged on in admin Vanish ironically as I had to see it for myself. My server gets a lot of reports of strange or weird bugs and behavior which often turn out to be nothing notable in the slightest, basically misunderstandings or issues to do with lag, and that was exactly what I expected when I logged in, just another false report. But then something odd happened. I flew over to the PvP area just near spawn and things seemed normal at first. I could see the supposed invisible player while I was in my own admin Vanish state, all fine. But then another player tried attacking him with his sword from point blank, and ToggleXYZ wasn't taking any damage. These hits weren't missing either, he was just not taking any damage, like the server didn't even register his existence. Yet, while in this Vanish state, ToggleXYZ could still do damage and attack other players no problem, while also being able to move fine and play as usual. Everything seemed to be normal on his end. I observed them for a while, and even other players who were on Minecraft Bedrock Edition couldn't see or attack him. In fact, in this current form, because he wasn't visible on the server tab list, nobody knew he was even online until he typed in the chat. The other player here, Yoav Bar, recorded his point of view, and well, this is just even more bizarre. The only reason he has even a rough idea of where ToggleXYZ is because of this cosmetic particle effect, which mind you, can be unequipped at any time. If it weren't for this effect, he would be entirely invisible. This is strange because Yoav Bar throws a splash potion on the ground at him and no potion particle effects, god those are ugly, are visible, which makes this even more different to the invisibility effect in game, as normally you can see the potion effects coming from the invisible player. This is also the same for armor and when holding weapons. Normally when invisible, your armor and whatever you are holding is visible as well, but this isn't the case here. He opens the tab list and right here, where ToggleXYZ should be, is nothing. Just another player. ToggleXYZ would then mention something odd in the chat, the fact that he couldn't use any commands. This almost instantly rung a bell in my head to something which had happened to me only a few weeks earlier. You see, whenever I join the server and the join message comes up in chat, I tend to get a fair amount of attention. And no, I'm not bragging, it's just something that normally happens because a lot of players on the server are fans. A few weeks back, I logged on during peak hours. There were at least 70 to 80 people online, maybe more, but not a single person acknowledged me. I didn't really pay it much attention as I wanted to film some cool cinematic shots of players' bases for my video, so I tried to /TP to players to check out their bases. But strangely, the command didn't work. Normally if a command fails, you will get an error message or unknown command, but after typing it multiple times, I got nothing, and keep in mind, I have full permissions on my server obviously. I tried a few different variations of the command and it didn't work either. In fact, no commands would work at all, /spawn, /game mode, and anything with a slash in front of it just did nothing. It was like I hadn't even typed it. I could still move around fine and type in the chat as normal though. I even messaged the other server owner and admin about the issue in Discord and then re-logged, which seemed to fix it. At the time I thought nothing of it, just some strange glitch, likely due to my bad server connection as I'm playing from Australia, and basically forgot about it entirely. But after ToggleXYZ brought up that he couldn't type any commands in chat, it all made sense. I had accidentally replicated the exact same invisibility and invincibility exploit that he had over 1 month before we even knew it was a thing. This was very concerning because now we had 2 players, myself included, who had experienced this weird bug before, meaning it wasn't a specific issue with only 1 player. And since this weird exploit made players almost entirely undetectable as they were invisible and hidden from the tab menu, other players could have been exploiting it for months without us even realizing. This was bad, and I knew we had to try and figure out what was going on, as if somebody malicious discovered this exploit and managed to replicate it themselves, the outcome could be catastrophic. Catastrophic, just like 70% of you who also seem to be invisible to the subscribe button. But don't worry, while the subscribe button can't see or damage you, you can of course still hit it. No pressure, of course. Anyways, my SMP allows griefing in PvP. We don't have any land claims or chest protections. So a player who enters this godlike state could go around to any base on the SMP they wanted, even those out near the world border, entirely undetectable, and could raid them while being entirely invisible. They could cheat in SMP events that run every 30 minutes. They could PvP near spawn while being invincible and entirely invisible even when wearing armor. They could probably even cheat or use hacks, as maybe even the mods couldn't see them. If large rival guilds on the server could harness this ability, they could destroy their enemies in an instant. This had the potential to be the most dangerous exploit my server had ever faced. So Toggle XYZ kept testing and learnt a few things. Number 1, it seemed that projectiles such as arrows, as well as environmental forms of damage like fire, could still impact and damage him. So he wasn't invincible, so to say, but basically still impossible for players to kill, as even when on fire, he was entirely invisible. Here you can see Yoav Bar shoots him with a flame enchanted bow, and we can hear the fire damage ticking away, but can't actually see him on fire. Arrows did not stick out of him either. However, he did discover something very important. When players who couldn't see him relogged, he would become visible again to them sometimes. This is good, a countermeasure, but basically useless, as by the time you realize somebody entirely invisible is near you, you would be confused and dead before you could even get the chance to relog. So next we needed to figure out how to replicate this exploit, and maybe this would give us some leads as to what exactly was going on. And this is where things got really interesting. You see, as it turns out, Toggle XYZ has bad internet as well, and he told me that the exploit first happened when he was switching between his crappy Wi-Fi and his phone hotspot. He tried to replicate the bug in the same way, but was unable. Then about a day later I got another DM. It had happened again, using the exact same method. He recorded a video of him doing it, and oddly enough, this time it took a few minutes after he had switched internet connections for him to become invisible, but sure enough, it did happen. He was able to replicate this exploit using this method multiple times, although it was somewhat inconsistent, only working about 30 to 40% of the time. I tried this method myself to no success, and it didn't work for anybody else, so I got to try as well. But we had another lead. Apparently one of the times Toggle XYZ was able to replicate the glitch was when he had such high ping that he lagged out. Now that's something I could try, as sometimes my connection to the server is so bad that I can lag out while loading too many chunks when flying with an elytra. So I got to work. My first strategy involved flying very fast and loading hundreds of chunks so my ping would spike and I would lag out. This is inconsistent though, and often I won't lag out, but rather will just lag back and my ping will gradually return to normal. After spending roughly an hour flying with an elytra and occasionally lagging out, I had no luck replicating it. So I tried a few other things, disconnecting my Ethernet cable while playing, turning off my modem, using a different computer altogether, and even turning on a Brazilian VPN to increase my ping even more, but nothing worked. It seemed like nobody could replicate this bug. I was close to giving up, but decided to give the elytra method one more go while I listened to some YouTube videos in the background. And after about an hour of trying, this time something was different. Upon trying to reconnect to the server after lagging out, it would not let me reconnect. It took a couple of attempts, but eventually when I got back in, I realized nobody paid me much attention, and upon checking the tab list, boom, I had successfully recreated the bug. And you bet I was invisible, mostly invincible, couldn't send commands, and was entirely undetectable. I had an alt account online as well before I managed to replicate this issue and saw with my very own eyes the potential power of this exploit. But ultimately this solved nothing. There were no errors in the server console, and no trace of any plugin malfunctioning that we could detect. There were no leads, and even worst of all, upon relogging I was back to normal and have not been able to replicate the bug since. Toggle XYZ, who was somewhat consistently able to replicate the bug the most, also is no longer able to replicate it, and we have changed nothing server side. So what the hell is going on? Well, we have some leading theories, but emphasis on the word theories because ultimately there is no hard evidence of anything. According to an experienced server owner who we talked to, the bug is likely the result of poorly done asynchronous optimization in plugins. I won't go into detail on the technicalities of what this means. All you need to know is that Minecraft servers are single-threaded and not very efficient, only utilizing part of a CPU. Some plugins can work around this though, being asynchronous, which means they use multiple CPU threads, so it's likely one of those plugins that is the culprit. Our cosmetic plugin is our primary culprit. It's asynchronous and was also the only thing visible on the player when he was in the invisible state. Our second culprit is Protocol Lib, which is basically a plugin that changes how Minecraft packets work, which is what a lot of other plugins, such as some anti-cheats, rely on to function. This could also be why you seemingly need to be lagging when it occurs, as the lag can cause packet loss between the server and player, which can interrupt asynchronous functions. And finally, it could be our in-game SMP events plugin, where every 30 minutes or so, a random event starts. This messes with the player's state a lot and has been problematic in the past, but it's still the least likely culprit we have here. So yeah, I'm stumped, and that's why I'm offering a bounty to all of you. I will give $100 to the first player who is able to successfully replicate this bug on my server. Join og-network.net, Bedrock players can join as well, and attempt to recreate this bug on the SMP. Record a video as proof and post it in my server's Discord. With your help, we might be able to get to the bottom of this rare but powerful exploit. I hope you all enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe, thank you all so much for watching.